This is Talking My Walking. I am Rodrigo Ribeiro, and today I'm going to talk about the collective consequences of the pursuit of the individual self interest. The dominant economic, political, cultural, and ideological paradigm at the global level is the pursuit of the self interest, individual, corporate, family, whatever. And that is how our reality is framed, how our relations are perceived. And this, of course, has practical implications in our lives. And it is not difficult, or it should not be that difficult, to understand that this mindset, this paradigm, benefits the upper classes, the upper echelons, the ones that have the ability to change the rules, to make the system, the institutions work for them. But then it is necessary to create the illusion that the system gives opportunity to all of us. If we have the determination, if we really want to be successful, it depends on how much of us we want to put, how much endeavor we put in our initiatives, in our projects. That depends the success. It doesn't depend in anything else. So that might be, we can make mistakes, we can be unsuccessful, but if we really want to achieve success, we probably can do it. This is a lie. And it should be obvious for all of us that this is not correct. This is an illusion. And those who buy into it become delusional about how the system works. And that's exactly why everything, the main institutions, the body of knowledge that supports this system, all of it is to give support, to justify the existence of this system, in order to make us all believe that it is our fault if we do not succeed, if we are losers. And of course, we all are all losers, even when we have something material, something physical, some physical asset, or even some money or some form of capital. What the amount we have, it's never assured, and it's just a drop in a bucket of what the billionaires and even millionaires let's put it, the 10% of the population, and the 1% and the 0.1%. So even those of us that have something to show and to protect, that's why we believe in the system. We want the small amount of things that we could collect, that we earned, to keep it protected. That's why we are willing to defend the system that in the end is against us, even against those that believe they have something to defend. Just like voting owning private property would be illegal if owning private property, or just like voting, it would become a threat to the elites. They would illegalize it, because when people blame the state, people don't understand that there are people owning the state, controlling the state, and the existence of a state is the body of institutions and legal systems and values and everything that is supposed to protect the sovereignty of the country, and to have a cultural identity, to protect the cultural identity of a people, of a nation, should defend and be and have the function of protecting the collective good, the protect the sovereignty and the well-being of every citizen. But it is not. We need to stop blaming the state, because if the state was controlled by us, it was a democratic state as it should be, then we could blame the state. We could say, no, the state doesn't work but the state is working against us. And then we allow the people that benefit with the state of things, with the circumstances that are created, that they blame the state. Because what do they want? Because they want more freedom for them. Freedom for them to accumulate more wealth, to have more control. That's why there is so many people that are against the state. They demonize the state. They blame the state for everything, or the government. But at this historic moment, in the Western countries, and the ones that are infected, the ones that are supposed to be allies of the Western powers, the Western imperialism, are all of them. The state is controlled by the few, and they don't want the state to go away. They want you to have the illusion that the state doesn't work, so therefore everything should be privatized. But they still want to use the state and the state powers and institutions to control you, to control us, and to allow them to protect, to allow them in terms of foreign policy, because they need the state. There is still the need for a powerful state to project power and to bail them out, because there is the need of institutions. The state is the last resource, but it should be the last resource. It should be it should be to protect us, to be for the collective well-being, but it is not. So stop blaming the state and stop blaming the government. We can blame a specific government or a specific form of governance, which is the kind of governance that we have, which is we call it managed democracy, managed in the name of the interests of the oligarchs and plutocrats, not us. So we should understand that and by we I mean the many, all the people that belong to the lower classes and the middle class, and even some in the upper middle class, they are victims of the system. They might have some benefits. You can have in a slave society, you can have slaves with some benefits. Why and for what purpose? To the purpose of helping to control the rest of the slave community. That's how the reality works. Okay? Giving benefits to part of the slaves doesn't mean that they are not slaves. They are not still slaves or considered slaves and even treated like that. So there is this illusion that the pursuit of self-interest, individual self-interest, is the same as democracy and the same as freedom. It is not. It is an illusion to keep us fighting each other. It is an illusion that for them to create monopolies, they must keep us competing with each other for scraps most of the time. and like any hierarchical system, the reason why there is so many steps, it's because it assures that people are always pursuing to be in the step above, and they will fight to their life to not go back. You know, they will always be. I mean, when I'm talking about it, I don't talking about the exceptions, because there are always exceptions to the rule. But the exceptions to the rule always prove the rule, not the opposite. Most of us, if not all of us, believe that we are wiser than we actually are, and that we deserve what we have because we have worked hard for it, which is also not true in many cases. I'm not saying that we don't work hard or we don't fight for what that is true, but it is exaggerated. And we want to believe it, or to pretend that we believe it, because we want to buy into the meritocratic rhetoric, demagoguery, to make us comfortable with when we are confronted with the differences and inequalities that make any sense, you know, because we live in a system where it's moral. It is moral, okay. We even glorify it, that people go hungry, even children, or it doesn't matter, whoever it is, goes hungry, because while the food is thrown away, not because there is no food, but because there is this system of meritocracy that dictates these people don't deserve it because they don't work, or because of this or whatever reason. That is a justification for evil. That is a justification to dehumanize us. It's the same philosophy, the same principles as values that goes for the free lunches. No, there are free lunches actually, but the free lunches, they are exactly for those that don't deserve them. That's why the system is rigged, and the state is working to provide free lunches for the upper classes, not for you, not for me, not for the guy in the street. not for the children in poverty, but free lunches for those that do not need it and do not deserve it. That's how this system works. A system that normalizes inequality, that justifies it, but that justifies all the wrong things that are all the wrong. There are so many things that are wrong, but it is justified, and the system. There are organizations, there are individuals, there are influencers and celebrities and authorities and experts and talking heads, and you name it, providing us solutions, individual solutions, which means that there is always individual solutions. If you do this, if you buy that, if you follow all what I'm telling you, you will have the possibility to become rich, to heal yourself, to be happy, to conquer what you want to conquer, and this and that and so forth and so on. They do not deny the existence of the problems, but they make us think that there is not about having a collective, having if there is not. Just imagine like the psychiatric drugs and the psychiatric philosophy. Do you have a problem? We have a problem. I have a problem. No, I'm depressed. And because I don't have a job, or I have a fight with a loved one, or whatever it is that makes me feel really bad and depressed, and that makes kind of life worthless and things like that. And then if you go to the psychiatrist, he doesn't want to address the causes, the roots of the problem. He's going to tell you that your problem doesn't have social, it's not about social or cultural or economic or cultural or political or whatever. That doesn't count. That context, societal context doesn't count. It doesn't matter. Your problem is individual, is at the individual as the corporal, organic level. You have a chemical imbalance. Therefore, what we need is a pill. What we need is a drug that will make you dumb, that will change your personality, at least during the period you take it, and have consequences. And you might not even feel better. But since you don't feel anything, think at the emotional level you are dumb, you don't feel better, but you feel nothing. And that is supposed to be the solution for your problem. But it's just about interfering with your physiological systems and change the profile of how they function, because actually you were having a response of self-sadness, or all this that happens with us human beings and even animals, because of a loss, because of a fight, because whatever problem it is. And it seems that what you need probably is comprehension. That's why we should always be there should be always people available to talk, because we need to talk, we need to express our problems, we need to be understood. We all need that. It is not a question of being strong or weak. It is a question of being humans. But no, there is this dominant culture and ideological paradigm that makes everything an individual problem. And the pursuit of the self-interest is the pursuit of finding solutions for individual problems. Disregarding the context, the social context, the economic, the family, and everything else. As if we do not need, as if there is nothing wrong, or if nothing that we can do to change, to have systemic changes. And this is the default. You know, that's how our minds are controlled, to go to these default assumptions of society, of ourselves, of our relations, of the solutions for the problems, and everything else. The ideology behind the pursuit of the individual self-interest is an ideology that defends the interests of the few. It is not, it seems, it gives, again I have to repeat it, it gives the illusion that all of us, that is as if we are playing in a level playing field, but it's not the case. And we are used. But as I said before, there is the need to be a reward system. But because if there was not a reward system, it would be difficult to convince people to play. So there is why, but it doesn't mean that we are all in the same boat, because we are not. And even if we are in the same boat, our value is we do not have any value. We will be thrown out of, we thrown overboard in no time. And this is we can say, or we can ask, so okay, this is true, but what can we do if we don't play this game with these rules? Our lives are even going to be worse, and that is true. So what can we do then? The only thing that we can do is to first of all start with a conscious transformational process, which means that we have to reverse, not reverse because I don't like it, it doesn't work like that, to have to learn new narratives, to expose ourselves to new narratives, and to reflect by ourselves with the contradictions and paradoxes of the system. And then based on that we need to create movements and organize, and stop believing and perceiving ourselves as individuals separated from everything, that our interests and the collective interests don't match, because that's a huge problem. And this is exactly why we by believing it and acting and behaving according to it, we do serve the interests of the few instead of our interests, because we are part of the collective. Whatever benefits what the collective well-being will benefit us. If there is, for example, a universal health care system, basic health care system, we all benefit of it. It doesn't matter. If we have a private, it doesn't. It's exactly the point. If you have a privatized healthcare system, what happens is the quality and the access of healthcare diminishes while you go down the social ladder, the socioeconomic ladder, which means the many will be more affected than the minority, the few. So this is not difficult to grasp. What is it? It is difficult not exactly to cut, but to start training ourselves, indoctrinating ourselves into different doctrines, different narratives that will become dominant, and that are becoming dominant, they replace the influence of the older ones. It's not just it's not exactly, and I mean, this is a very important point, because people always talk about getting rid of this, getting rid of that. We don't get rid of anything. If we have been exposed to something, we learn it. Okay? We learn it, and it's somewhere in our cognitive affective systems. It's part of our implicit memories. So it's not about getting rid or using the kind of MK Ultra strategies to have a blank slate or state that wipe out all the belief systems to replace it with new ones. It's not about that. Because it's even good that we have the old perspective, that we can compare. And then we can realize how deceit is easy to, how easy it is for us to be deceived. Because we are social beings. We need to trust. We need to bond with something. That's how we are built. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just because we have we have a system that is based on the many to serve the few, and then there is the need of a web of deceit to transform it to naturalize it and normalize it. And that's how it works. So the only solution for it's that we need really to think about what could be, how a good society would look like, an ecological, holistic civilization would look like, a political economy, sufficiency. I mean, I'm talking about three words: sufficiency, reciprocity, and resilience. And another three words: justice, truth, and trust. Because solidarity, cooperation, empathy, and compassion, we can grow them. You know, these things, they are natural on us. We can feel them or behave as if they matter. But we need to cultivate them. We need to train them. We need to have an economic system, a society, a political system, a cultural system with the narratives that to implement it, to reinforce these values, to not be victims of a system that has this separation, like values, moral values, and for the moral values, human rights, and all these things. But this is a separate category. It's in a different draw. It has that. Then there is the real life. What we call the real life, but the real life that we call, that's the economy, you know, all the values and the principles that rule this the pursuit of individual interest, that justifies the inequality, justifies the dictatorship at the working place, and everything else, you know, the social inequality, the poverty, the manufacture scarcity, austerity, and everything else, the exploitation, I mean, everything. But then we say that this is the real world, and it just that's how we perceive it. And then we just see this is the real world, so therefore we have to adapt to the real world. We cannot change it. So therefore we have these three different realities, and we just have to survive like that. And that doesn't need to be like that, but we need to think, we need to reflect, to discuss, to debate, to organize, to unite, and to understand that if we only pursue individual solutions, they might work for us as individuals, but they don't work at the collective level. And meanwhile, the inequality grows, poverty grows, and the fabric of society is destroyed. And we just, and we just believe that what we need to do is maybe to go to get rid of those that are troublemakers, you know, the ones, the growth of the useless class, you know. We go back. So we start to come with ideas of getting rid of people, to find ways to get rid of people. And there will always be people that believe they might not be affected by it. But once evil starts to be part of mainstream, it will affect all of us. Mentally, morally, economically, socially, culturally, politically. We all be affected. And most of the time without even noticing it. Because if we go along to get along, we just are dehumanized from inside out. And then we just become what we never expected to become, or defend ideas, or people, or institutions, or organizations that we never thought that we would do it, but we do it because we are very, very easily manipulated. That's the point. And the only solution for that is then we openly debate and try to have a conscious and train a process of conscious transformative process to become aware of what really means to be a human being and have a meaningful life without the need to be focused in the pursuit of self-interest. It's not because we do not have to protect ourselves, but that doesn't mean that we have to be, that's the default, the denominator that we follow, we strictly follow it without even care about the consequences. It is about developing bonds with other people, bonding with other people, not following. Because this is, again, part of this individualistic mentality of, this idea that of saviors and heroes and leaders and authorities and gurus and it's not like that. We don't need to follow, we need to share, and those that know better, that have the opportunity to develop certain skills or certain fields of knowledge, they have the obligation to share, because they could only do it because they had the opportunity and the will, for sure. But it's not because they are superior or they are wiser or they are this and that, or they need to be put in a pedestal and idolized and glorified. No. As I always repeat it, respect and admiration. It's nothing to do with followerism. And these bonds need to be, because we cannot create any meaningful movement or organization or unite if we do not develop bonds, if we don't understand, if we still in the mentality that is the main mentality, what can I gain? What am I going to gain out of this? You are already boycotting any possibility of bonding. Because we don't understand when that mentality prevails, we don't understand the importance of bonding with other people and creating. There can be not resistance, organized resistance, or revolution, or radical change, unless we can really unite, feel that unity at the individual level, that we are sharing something in common. It's not just a thing for a hobby, or if we are only focused in what divides us. That's not because nuances are not important and the details and everything, of course, but we need to be open to debate it, because a solution, a negotiation, the search for a solution requires commitments. And nobody owns the truth. This is a fact. This is not speculation. That's why we should never focus ourselves in a single person or a single ideology, because we need, in order to have a holistic perspective, a comprehensive perspective of understanding of a problem, of a complex problem in the context of complex systems analysis, we need to have, it's not about following anybody, again. It's about understanding the roots of the problem. Okay, that is all for today. Thanks for listening. I'll be back soon.